Hey guys, Fusebox back on Raid Shadow Legends. Going over Lord Shazar. I did this a long time ago. It needs to be updated. One of my favorite heroes in the game. Now, I value things differently than others, but this guy is fun, unique, brings one of the best bomb kits in the game, arguably War Mother with her new buff, but this is my favorite. He's my favorite. Pretty much an arena superstar. Bombs. So bombs. We're going to talk about bombs so you understand them, know where you can use them. And yeah, they need more gameplay in a lot of PvE, but they're still valuable in PvE, so we're going to prove that today. But arena, he's kind of ridiculous, right? Lord Shazar, got the nipple rings. He's not apologizing. Got a sword that pretty much doesn't matter which way he swings it. It's going to do some damage. An amazing looking hero, one of the older heroes, and definitely one of my favorites. So what makes him so unique? Let's look at his skills, because there's more than just his bombs. That's why he's such a unique and special hero. A 3-hitter on his A1, damage increases by 15% for each debuff on the target. He's actually a clan boss monster. I'm not going to be able to speed tune him in, but we'll show him doing ridiculous damage. We'll throw him in there. You got a bunch of debuffs up, 15% for each one. He's already strong. So all of his books actually increases damage. This is kind of one of the things that makes him incredible for me. His A2 actually increases his own attack. He's not relying on having an arbiter, anything like that. Then he puts block debuffs on himself, and then he gets an extra turn. These are always amazing. This was my first hero in the game, my first legendary hero in the game, by the way. So I threw books into him before I knew what I was doing, and I'm glad I did, because I've used him ever since to this very day. But the extra turn is amazing. It starts dropping cooldowns for you. Of course, putting up block debuffs is amazing anywhere you go. And his A3 this is his big bomb move. So what's important about this, it attacks all enemies. That means he's getting a hit. So before he lays bombs, he's attacking the enemies. That makes him special and valuable, because this hit actually does damage that's at least worth noting. Then he has a 100% chance with books of placing 2 bombs that detonate after 2 turns. That's okay, but it decreases the detonation cooldown by 1 if it's a critical. So this guy has to have 100% crit. That way, this is a 1-turn bomb, because a 1-turn bomb is infinitely more valuable than a 2-turn bomb. And then he has the best speed lead for arena in the game, 32%, whereas arbiter, everybody's trying to get her so they have a shot, and she is only 30%. So once you have him, if he's a part of your team, you want to go ahead and put him in the lead. Arbiter gets to take a back seat. She still needs to be the fastest on the team. We'll look at my masteries. In the end, what you really need is accuracy. You need accuracy. And I honestly, if you're getting extra attack, we're going to talk about his build. It's definitely a specific way you want to build this guy. So Laura still is valuable for speed, accuracy, attack, any of that stuff you've got going on. I do like Cycle of Magic, but I kind of take him into kind of a nuker build, because increasing his attack is something that could be valuable. Most people would never look at using this, but if you can get the crit rate, in my case right now, I think let me look at my crit, because I want to explain something. Even though you always see every build going into 5% extra crit rate, deadly precision, and then moving down into crit damage, the truth is, getting an extra 75 attack is more valuable if you've got the crit. And this is a great example, because I think on my build, I'm at 107. So I truly will get more if I go ahead and take his attack. I'll tell you what, I'm going to reset that real quick. After all this time, a year and a half at least, this guy still has a free reset. So this is going to be fun. Let me rebuild this guy and put some thought into it. So I kind of landed here on masteries for pretty much everywhere I'm going to use him, especially arena. Get that first hit to smack, increase all his damage, go into Helm Smasher, and speed up when the enemies die. Hopefully he can finish the job. Lore of Steel, you'll usually have things like speed gear or high attack gear on him. That kind of helps out. I do like speeding him up, a chance to increase his turn meter by 30% when his bombs wear off, get him back around to finishing the job. So real quick, If you get Lord Shazar, he's just an amazing champion. He is an amazing champion. In the arena, it's pretty much his place, the place to bring him. Let's just do another fight real quick. With or without a damage dealer, I should have brought somebody else. Just his bombs alone. His bombs alone. Let's go ahead and speed this up. They just dropped dead. They just dropped dead. We can afford to do this without our nuker, without Trunda. Let's just bring in, we'll find, I actually don't have him with just a Necret, do I? That would be the way to go. That would be the way to go, but this is good enough. The only damage dealer on the team, he just gets the job done. I wish there was a Krisk. I need a Krisk to show up. We can't remove Stone Skin, but remember, bombs are super strong against Stone Skin. It's like 400% damage against them or something. So you don't have to worry about Stone Skin if you're bringing Lord Shazar. That's a pretty good point too. Let's real quick. I'd like to. Here we go. It's a Krisk. We've been looking for a Krisk, but it's a fast Krisk. So this might not play out. But let's throw some bombs on him and hopefully just watch him melt away. Do we go first? We do. Okay, we're not even going to worry about the shield. We're going to speed up. And yeah, it looks like we're going to go ahead and win this speed fight. Now we're going to... We're not even worried about it. We're just going to lay our bombs. There is a chance we miss on Foley. That's okay. Now we're going to use debuff spread on somebody that has 2. Spread those. Now we got all these bombs on Krisk with full health. Will it be enough? I don't know. They may have a really, really high HP pool. But let's just kind of let these bombs go off. Her turn. She's dead. Doesn't really matter what we do here. His turn dead. Krisk just blew up. Full health. Krisk blew up with a shield on because bombs don't care about any of that. Shields, defense, they just don't care. But let's look at his build. We know you need crit rate. We know that you want to make sure he has 100% crit rate. What gear you use is not that important. It's the actual stats. Attack. So here's how bombs work. You want a ton of attack on this guy. What you do is bombs ignore defense. They hit for a guaranteed amount. Once you plant that bomb and it goes off in one turn, that means when they take their turn, they're going to explode that bomb. And it is based on attack and nothing else. There is no defense that you have to ignore with the bombs. That's going to be the biggest amount of damage you're doing in arena against PvP in any situation. So attack is his most important stat after you get 100% crit. So I did take the attack. We'll look at that again. Instead of crit rate, I didn't need it. I'm at 102. I took the extra attack. Now, Lord Shazar is a little different from some heroes, so we're going to go ahead and give him some crit damage. If you can get 6,000 attack and 230 crit damage, by all means do it, because his hits count too, not just his bombs. But attack does take priority here, so you're not worried so much about crit damage. You're worried more about getting him speed tuned into your team, however you need to do that. If you're thinking of him like a nuker, now, I would say more accuracy could be better. It depends. Most of the heroes you're trying to kill don't have high resistance. If you're against a high resist team, then you need to make note of that. Increase his accuracy with a buff, something like that. But you want enough accuracy to be landing his bombs, enough crit rate to guarantee that they're one turn, and enough attack to make them count. And then you start piling on crit damage afterwards, and you're pretty much good to go, right? Get him at the speed that you want or need. But here's the thing. We could do this all day with variations of teams and get him in there killing people. But what we want to do is see what can he do in regular content, right? Supposedly he doesn't do so much. The bombs are not good in regular content. Let me see who has a good affinity. So he's spirit. He's actually good here. Let me set some kind of team up. We're going to do a fast team. We're not going to play around with a slow team. Okay, we got a strong team coming in, bringing all the debuffs we could want. What we want to do is watch Lord Shazar. Everybody else is going to do great. This team's going to be fine. But we're going to go ahead and slow it down and watch Lord Shazar. So he's right here, second from the left. We're going to get everything going, increase some. Now here, even when you do an allied attack, look at the damage he's putting out with that 3-hitter A1. Now this is where the Helm Smasher is great. The bombs are up. When those bombs blow up with those poisons, nobody stands a chance. We're going to speed this up because on the boss, we'll be able to focus more on what Lord Shazar specifically is doing, but nothing can survive. From this point, there's no way. Now, if he's taking hits and doing very good damage against these waves, and the bombs are going to also bring an extra 60,000 on top of that damage, how is that not helping your team? Bombs are effective here. They are effective here. It's not like they're no good. You need a strong build to get use out of them, but look at the damage he's doing. A 3-hitter. We've already talked about how amazing Calvalax is, and he's pretty comparable to Calvalax here. So this is just this is a debuff fest, right? It's like bombs and poisons and fears, but when we get to the boss and we can compare Lord Shazar with some of the biggest hits in the game, Calvalax. Everything he does is some of the top damage in this game. So we'll really be able to see if he's shining there. We get a lot of extra hits out of Cardiel. He does great damage. He's here for support, but he does great damage. He'll get extra A1s. Now, this is where we may change it to Giant Slayer just to see the difference we get here. So the poisons are up. The fight will be won through those. We haven't broken defense yet. Hopefully we have room in the debuff bar to break defense and weaken, because we do want our damage to increase dramatically. Every time we get that, it's just extra hits from some of these hard hitting champs. It's pretty gross. But now we've broken defense and weakened. So this is where we get to watch the damage really ramp up. We're going to put it on ×1 for a second. So here he goes. That's his AoE, hitting for 70,000. There's no room for his bombs, but his bombs would add 60,000 to that as soon as this dragon takes a turn. We don't even have to wait for the poisons to do damage here. It's pretty amazing. So here we go. A1, 100,000, 73, and 93. So Helm Smasher procs are off and on there. But averaging about 86,000 a hit? Pretty solid, right? 100,000 and 90,000 on an A1. His other hit was doing 60. It may Helm Smasher proc higher than that. I'm not sure. And again, he's not even getting to lay his bombs. So here we go with another 77, 100, 75. So yeah, I'd say he's averaging right in the middle of that, somewhere around 86,000 or so. We can speed this up. What am I doing? Let's speed it up. So really what we want to do with all this poison damage, is there any chance for him to even compare? I think we're moving fast enough that he can. I think he will be able to weigh in with all that damage. Okay, so what do we got here? Pretty much on par with Calvalax for damage. And Calvalax not only has all those poisons out and some of the best hits in the game, he kept up with that. Bomb damage, I wish it would break this down for us so you could see the bomb damage. But if we slowed this team down, put a bunch of healers and protective players in here, you would get to see that bomb damage do more work than his sword did. Absolutely amazing hero. He could all day wreck arena. But now, and remember, his speed aura is only good in arena. That's something you definitely want to keep in mind. Let me try to set up a team on the clan boss so we can watch him do some work. So again, I can't spend 20, 40 million silver tuning these teams. But we're going to take a lot of the usual suspects, people who can keep me alive, but increase our damage, some poisons. I have no idea how it's going to work, but this is Ultra Nightmare. We're just going to throw him in and watch his damage ramp up. It's pretty much going to be, it depends on how many poisons we can keep up with only Calvalax bringing poisons. But right here, what we really need to do is put Giant Slayer on. The procs would be pretty much ridiculous. We are on an affinity. We're on blue affinity. He's the weak affinity here. We'll see what happens. So here we go. We're already up to 70,000 a hit, 77, 63. Unfortunately, we're on the wrong affinity. But you can see how we're ramping up damage quickly here. Hopefully we will keep those poisons up, because that's going to be pretty crucial to keeping our damage ramped up. I don't think we'll have any problem with anything else other than staying alive, possibly with an speed tuned team. But yeah, man, if you could put him in as your damage dealer, it's hard. Some of the traditional unkillable teams only have 1 or 2 slots for damage dealers, so he'd have to pair up with somebody like maybe a Calvalax, or you really want to break defense. So it's tricky how you're going to fit him in, but the dude is amazing on Clan Boss.
We don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long.
Okay, Lord Shazar, Clan Boss build. You could actually take the counterattacks, would be a great way to go, but I don't want to change up too much. We're just basically looking at getting Giant Slayer and making sure that his A1 increases in damage. The rest pretty much does not matter. I don't need the crit rate, so attack is actually more beneficial either way you look at it. But let's go into the Clan Boss and show what this guy can do. Now we're literally the wrong affinity on both Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. I will show you what he does on Ultra Nightmare, but we're going to get weak hits. So let's do Brutal real quick and just watch 10, 20 rounds, sped up a little bit, and see what he can do. So the team, to make this work at its best, we're going to set this team up. We've got Lord Shazar only doing his A1. We don't want to burn through shields or block debuffs. We want to make sure he's just doing his A1. Hopefully we'll get increased attack from Brogni, breaking their defense, and Calvalax does not have War Master, and we're only using his A1. In that case, I would want War Master on the Clan Boss, but we're hoping to just keep up poisons. That's really all we're doing. It's not speed tuned. It doesn't have to be. The damage that Lord Shazar does is pretty gross on Clan Boss, so definitely don't overlook him. He does 15% extra damage against each debuff, so we're trying to just get debuffs out as fast as possible. His bombs will not outshine his A1. We just want his A1 constantly going. Let's get some debuffs up and see what we're doing with our A1 here. We're hitting for about 100,000 a hit, and we're getting 85,000 every time he procs Giant Slayer. He's going to be a part of my ally attack, meaning he's getting about 500,000 damage every time he just uses his A1. Pretty gross.
We don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. What you want to be going, you will see. You can have everything you want. It's your destiny, be in harmony. We were never meant to be apart. What you want to be going, you will see. You can have everything you want. It's your destiny, be in harmony. We don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long. Got to keep going. Don't really know where the world is gonna go, but now everybody knows that you can't stop for too long.
Definitely a super cool hero. So yeah, he was my first hero. Maybe I like him. Maybe that plays a little bit of a role, how much I like him, but he is fun. He's useful. He's a Clan Boss monster. If you want to build him into your team for that, or you don't have many other options. Early on, I was using him because I had him. He was my first legendary hero in this game. He still is like an arena god. He's absolutely amazing in there. And other than that, in content, it's just simply not true that bombs are useless. They're not as flashy, I suppose, but after he takes a hit, let's say he hits for 60,000 across the board AoE, Then he gets another 60,000 or so just from damage. How is 120,000 across the board not good, right? Doubling his damage. On bosses, it's not that valuable, but his A1 is that valuable. So he's worth bringing on teams that you might not have considered. I'm so glad. I've been needing to redo a little showcase of Lord Shazar for a long time now that I've got this going on. I appreciate you guys sitting through it. Let me know if you've got him, if you've been using him, if you've been sitting on him, because he is amazing. Anyways, I had fun. Thanks for sitting through it. And until next time, enjoy the grind.